we have the history of Rena always making the breakout groups, and we realized that that wasn't very good risk mitigation. So we've done some practicing, and the first time I tried to do it and she wasn't around, I screwed up. I couldn't do it.
Oh yeah, I've been like stressing. I've read like tutorials and I watched videos. Like,
and that's great because then you're more okay. But I'm happy to. Yeah. And the worst is you can't really practice it unless you have a bunch of people. Like it's hard.
We could practice. We could practice if we. Could you make breakout groups of one person? Could we do it with the three of us at the end of the meeting?
Maybe at the end, but not now.
No, not now. But just to give Karen that peace of mind.
Yeah.
Because it makes a big difference. Right?
And when I, the times that I've done it, the first few times I would either mess up or I'd lose something. I wouldn't know what I'm doing, or I'd forget to like put the time in, or there's always something until you do it many times. And
yeah.
Just gonna put that in there.
All right.
Oh, that's the wrong place. So the other thing we should discuss is we were going to have, and maybe we can get your input on this. Typically, we start at the beginning, somewhere at the beginning of the meeting. We have people just check in with you, like meet a few other people who are in the meeting. It kind of just gets them a bit warmed up. Then we'll just say it's usually 3 to 4 people in a group, and we just say, say your name and what inspired you to attend this event, like real simple. But we're kind of rushed, like we're in rush. That is a very tight schedule today. So we're wondering if we should skip that. And the benefit of having it is it gets people used to being in a breakout group so that when they go to the pair share, it's not so weird. And it's also people, it's nice for people to meet other people.
Yeah.
How long do you think your introduction is, for example?
Oh, mine, it can just be very quick. I mean, I saw the little 5-minute slot, which is plenty, but if you need me to make it less, I can. Yeah, I wondered about that too, if it would be better to have the second breakout group be a minute or a little bit longer,
right.
A minute or two longer, and let them introduce.
Yeah, no, the other one is a good length. We've done enough times to know they need about 4 minutes each. But
so Rena, my suggestion is let's do it, and we'll say it's really brief. It's just a chance to connect. We're a large group. It's a chance to create some intimacy, and you're going to be in pairs further into the workshop.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to repeat, like have them be in the same groups at all because
that doesn't matter.
Yeah. So it would be nice if I could, but I don't think there's any real way to do that.
So, I mean, all I was planning was just to welcome everyone and briefly say why I wanted to offer this and why education is important, and then turn it over to you guys. I can make that really short.
Right. And then, it'd be great. So let's talk about the end. Oh, there's a few things we want to say. But yeah, let's talk about what our strategy is for after this, just so that if there's anything we have to say during this meeting to allude to that. And that is that, so it's over, and and so far you've captured all the names, right? Because everyone's ready.
Yes. Yeah.
And so the question is, do you have any plans or any interest in following up with A, the people who showed up, B, the people who registered but didn't show up, like in order to, I don't know.
Well, I'm planning to just send the recording to everyone at the end. So I was planning to send an email out to everyone who missed it, or if someone had to leave early or wanted to check it out again. So, so I was definitely planning to do that email. And let's see, I'm just trying to look ahead because I have a super busy week coming up. We're driving to California for about 5 days and back again for 2 days, and then flying to California, which is really insane. I don't know, doesn't make any sense, but that's what we're doing over the next 10 days. So I'm really busy as far as sending.
When would be a little bit of a window of ease, Karen? Like what date around?
Well, let's see. So we leave Monday to drive to California. So that's the 28th. We're coming back here on the 6th of July. But when we're in California, we're packing and moving from one condo to another. So the whole time we're going to be packing, cleaning, moving things. So I won't be back in Colorado till the 6th of July. Then I'm leaving again the 8th.
Okay.
So
the deadline that we've given in our mind, we thought July 7th by end of day is when we wanted people to register so that they can start on July 11th, and we have a little bit of time. So I guess the question is, would it work to send that recording and a reminder that, like, if it was on the 6th, then it's like, you know, tomorrow is your last day. Here's the recording from the workshop. Tomorrow is your last day. Or if that's not manageable, then let's think about something else.
Or were you planning to send the recording sooner than that?
Yeah, I was planning to send the recording right away. Otherwise, I get people emailing me constantly.
Right,
Where's
right,
the recording? Give me.
Right,
So I was going to send that right away and remind them then. I mean, I guess I could set up like an automated email. It's just the 6th, we're driving all day. And so
an automated email would work. Totally.
Yeah.
And Michelle, while she's just figuring that out, I just want to show you that on page 11, I've just added something that when you are telling people starting to tell people about the pair shares, to say, and if you're listening to this after the fact, like you're listening to this as a recording, you could do this by just speaking out loud to yourself, or you could try to ideally you find someone to do this exercise with, or if you don't have someone to exercise, just the important thing is to speak out loud. Something like that, okay? Do you see where I am?
Not yet, no. Okay.
Yeah, you can add stuff as you wish.
I just want to highlight it.
Yeah. So back to you, Karen. Is that doable to send out an automated email?
I think so. It's just the time, and just the time involved.
I guess the other option. So I can't remember if when people signed up, did they think they're going to be on our email list? I don't remember if we talked about that or not.
No, I don't think that was.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Mentioned,
that's totally fine. Absolutely fine.
So
yeah, I mean, we have the ability to follow up with people who've taken an action on our website. So if anyone like signs into that website or consents, then we get an alert.
Yeah.
And so we can follow up with those people. Usually do that.
I just need to set it up this weekend before we leave town, and it's a busy weekend, but I have to upload the CSV into MailChimp in order to send it. But
so Karen, can I think we're all talking about the same thing here, but you're planning to send out the recording, right?
Right away.
So my suggestion would, like, are you having a vacation notice on when you're away on your email?
No.
Okay, so you might want to do that, and then you don't feel like compelled to reply to anybody. It's like, I'm on vacation, I'm not replying, I'll get back to you when I'm back. Do you know how to do that? We can show you.
I do.
Okay, that's just one thought. And then what if that email that's going to have the recording, all it needs to say, it's not, when we talk about automating, it's really like scheduling it, right? You're scheduling it to go out on July.
The recording she wants to send out right away, like in the next 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
And she's thinking of automating another email.
And I'm proposing to not do that and just send out one email, which is the recording, and something that says tomorrow is the last day, and schedule it for July 6th, and give up the thinking that you have to reply to people who are emailing you saying, where's the recording?
My vote is do the recording right away and just automate another email for July 6th.
Yeah, the reason I would do that is because that's how I always do it. I always send the recording right away, and so it's what people expect from me. So I don't want to have people thinking, what happened? I thought we were getting a recording. I'll just email her and ask why we don't have, I'd rather just send it.
And so I have another question. In the recording, so the 2 times, 1 or 2 times where people are in breakout groups, whoever's not in the breakout group, say the 3 of us are sitting here, we're going to be recorded, right? Or are you going to edit that out?
I was going to pause the recording during those times. I'll just pause it.
I'm going to be
you're the host.
Host, unless you have.
But I think everyone has the ability to record on their own screen, even if you're the host.
Why don't you make me host right now?
I'll make you the host right now so you can look at it. mean, I guess I could just make you the host right before the breakout rooms, but let's try that.
Okay, so I am now the host.
Yeah, mine still says record, so I can still record it on my
Okay, so you're
computer.
recording. That's great. So you can pause it and everything. I don't even have record. So, oh, well, I have the button at the bottom, but are you recording at the moment?
No, and
Okay.
it is recording on YouTube, however, but the live stream. But I don't know that, I don't think no one's there listening to it, but it's recording all of this, but
4 people are here. So, oh yeah, I'm the only one who could see how many people are here now. Okay, so I think, so the good news is you probably still, when you say you can still record, does that mean you have the record button at the bottom?
yeah, and I can record it on my computer so that I have the recording.
Okay, that would be good.
But
I'm going to
should
pop away
I,
for a minute.
Yeah.
should I take the host back until we're ready to do the break? Well, that's coming up pretty quickly, I
It
guess,
comes
the
up soon, yeah.
first breakout room. It's just admitting the participants, I guess.
Do you have, here, let me just see something. I'm going to look at to see if you have the automatic.
Because they're all in the waiting room right now.
Yeah, no, I see that. Yeah, no, I can't disable that. Okay, I mean, I'm pretty good at just pressing, like normally the 2 of us do it together. So I'm pretty good at, you see it flashes on the screen and I say admit, admit, admit.
Or you can just admit everyone.
Yeah, but if more people come later.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
The latecomers.
Okay.
I guess I'll do that. That's fine. Let me just see if I can make you the co-host just for the fun of it. That would be interesting. No, why is that?
And I enabled it on the settings, but I don't know if that would mean I'd have to restart the meeting to get the updated setting to be effective. I don't know. I don't know why.
Weird, eh? Yeah. So I can make you the host, but I can't make you the co-host. Is there something else I can do here? Let's try one more thing. Need a financial plan on lock screen. Christmas too. Video. No, weird.
Yeah, so I will record it on my end and then you don't have to worry. Then I'll have the recording because that.
Right, and you'll press pause and when we're going to groups, right?
Yes, yeah. So that'll help if I'm taking care of that part of it while you're setting up the breakout groups.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything else we need to go over? It's exciting. Oh, the other thing, just if we were talking about Michelle and I, is that if your event, you have the date, it's September something?
Yeah, September 10th.
So what we could do, and we don't decide till September, is we can do, if you're interested, another event like this in early September, like kind of exactly repeat just for people who missed it. And, you know, they can join our next thing and they still get to join your event. So, but like I said, we don't decide till September, but
okay,
an option. But we don't have to talk about now. Today, it's like, we're just doing this. And then, you know, if 2 months later we go, hey, we're going to do it. It was so great. We're going to do it again. Are you supposed to be muted, Michelle? What did you say? Did you say something?
I said it's like a pilot, right?
Yeah.
We're trying something. We haven't done it before and we'll work with it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
We have a phrase, Karen. One of the first, like, I don't know, 6 people who ever did a Willow workshop, like our pilot workshop, was an amazing man named Namgel Jerry Ewan, and he actually had a terminal cancer when he joined our group, and he has since died. And he was a professional facilitator, did a lot of university orientation stuff in theater. And before he went on stage or performed, he and his, I guess, partner and
his team
would say, "Love him up." So that's what we always say.
That at his funeral too. They talked about his funeral, so now we always say that.
I like that.
Love him up.
Yeah.
Do you, as a practice, do you want to let people in early, or you want to wait till we're closer to the time?
It doesn't matter to me. Do people have a lot of technical questions?
Not much anymore, but we could do it in about 4 or 5 minutes. We can let people in.
That's one thing about the pandemic, is that people got familiar with Zoom, that's for sure. I was just checking.
I wonder if we're live on YouTube.
You wonder if what?
We're live on YouTube. People are watching.
I know, I just got the notification. You're live on YouTube right now, but and I can probably go, well, actually, I'll just disable that YouTube video after this is done, because the recording I'll probably upload to YouTube on a private channel so that just the people who registered can watch it. But anyway.
we can go to YouTube and see if anyone's watching it right now.
They probably aren't, because they won't get the referral to YouTube until we hit 100 people.
Got it. And we're at 9. Well, plus us.
Oh,
we're at 12.
Oh,
What includes 12. So I know I find like as COVID goes on, fewer and fewer, a smaller and smaller percentage of people who register for events, especially free events particularly, show up. Like it used to be like 50 to 60, and then it was like 40 to 50. And it was like,
yeah, I know, it's funny, but I guess people are just tired.
Well, they're interested. They're genuinely interested, and then they go, maybe. But you sent out a lot of great reminders, so that's good.
Yeah, it was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
People signed up at least, which was good.
Yep, step 1. Good reminder to turn our phones off.
Yes. Thumbs up. You're gonna give it your all in the next 90 minutes?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. Who just said what happened? Oh, I see. My neighbor over there who's calling us. I'm on Zoom, quiet. I never see him out hanging out on his porch. It's so funny. You can't see because he's too bright, but he's right there. Oh, he was right there. He moved in. 10 people in the waiting room. 11. Got up to 11.
It's interesting, Karen, we just had the last 2 registrants for the Educator program. One is a psychiatric nurse who focuses on supporting individuals and families of people who have developmental disabilities. And one is a chaplain and an end-of-life doula in a for a company that operates long-term care facilities.
Let me cut you off there because I just want to ask something about the beginning here. So you are the very first person who's going to speak. Is that right, Karen?
Yes.
Okay. And then I will go into our land acknowledgement, I guess, after that.
Yeah. And mine will just be really brief. And then I'll mute myself so that. And I'll just be quiet till the very end, I guess. That's
unless you have questions or anything.
As you
want to add something.
Yep. Yeah, feel free to participate at any way that is comfortable for you, Karen.
Okay. I did have several people write and say they couldn't come on at this time of day, but
yeah, we'll see. 14 in the waiting room. Should we 15? Should we let them in and say hi?
I guess we won't need the Zoom.
What? Sorry?
We won't need Zoom. I just wanted to make sure we had that in case like a lot of people signed up. Zoom. We won't need YouTube. Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
It's good to have a plan.
Should we let the 20 people in and say, hi, how you doing?
Sure.
4 minutes, just give a bit of warmth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 21. Love them up.
Love them up.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning. Or not good morning, good afternoon.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
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 Oh, you're in the tropics.
I wish. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah.
We also opened up the meeting just a few minutes early in case anybody wanted to check their microphone or had any technical difficulties. So if that's you, you could give us a wave of your hand
Or just
or
unmute yourself and say,
Mhm.
Philip, you wanted to do something?
No, just to say hello.
Okay,
Hello.
great. Hi.
From sunny or wintry Tasmania.
Wonderful.
wow.
Hi. What
Welcome.
time are we there? It's early in the morning. I
We're
guess.
time 6 o'clock in
Yeah.
the morning.
Oh gosh.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Yeah. It's lovely to see so many beautiful faces.
Unmasked faces.
Yes.
Unmasked,
Hi.
exactly.
Yes.
Unmasked faces, real smiles.
Unmasked faces, yeah.
Hello from West Ireland,
Oh, lovely. And
Ah,
what time- and
hello.
what time is it there, Liz?
9 p.m.
I wonder while we're just going to wait another couple of minutes. If with if you are someone who is brand new to Willow, meaning you haven't been on our website or you're really just heard about us when Karen was spreading the word about this event, can you give us a wave of the hand?
Or a thumbs up or
Yeah.
I'm new. I'm in the process of
New.
getting connected, but I'm new.
Okay.
great.
Thanks for letting us know that.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Oh, our pleasure.
And I'm Linda from Cincinnati, and I haven't signed up yet, but I plan to sign up very shortly.
You mean
Thanks, Linda. Linda and I have had
Oh,
some
yeah.
one-on-one conversations
okay.
about the Willow EOL Educator program. Yeah. And Karen, when we begin, or Rena, when we begin, will you mute everybody and we'll unmute ourselves again?
That'll be me.
Okay, just checking about that.
Should we get started?
Yes.
I'm just admitting.
Oh, okay. We'll let you catch up.
I might have just muted. No. If I mute all, I'm just warning you, Karen and Michelle, that will include you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Go
do-
for it.
I forgot how to do that. I'll ask everyone to please mute themselves while I'm figuring it out.
Yeah, that would be great. If you could each just mute yourself if you're not already muted.
Oh, there it is. Found it. I'm going to mute you all. That's going to be you, Karen, and
Yeah.
Michelle as well. There we go. I did it.
All right.
All right.
Are you still admitting or should we get started?
I am still admitting, but that's going to happen.
Let's
so.
begin.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'll start recording. Oh, the host, you have to give me permission to record.
I will do that.
We made a few little changes in terms of who's doing what before we started. So we're
Let me just see if sorry about that. There we go. I've done it. Does that work, Karen?
Okay, let's see. Try. Yes, that worked. All right, welcome everyone. I'm Karen Wyatt. If some of you may have heard me on my podcast but not seen me before, so that this is who I am. And I just want to welcome all of you. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special workshop today. And if you followed me for very long, you know that I'm really passionate about education. One of the things that I talk about a lot is that we have to educate ourselves and educate one another in our communities about end-of-life issues if we truly want to change end of life in our world, in our society, and in all societies around the world. If we want to make a difference in how we care for people at the end of life and how we approach the end of life, we need education in all sectors. Each one of us who's willing to learn and talk about end of life issues needs to become a teacher in our own community, in our own neighborhood, our own family, our own church, wherever we find ourselves. So we need to have information at hand and to know how to talk to people and how to educate them around end of life issues. When Rena and Michelle came along, Rena Lazar and Michelle Pante from Willow EOL, just recently telling me about their EOL Educator program, I became very excited because they have the resources now and the tool through this program to support and assist people who want to be teachers in their own right, who want to go out and talk with others and share information about end-of-life issues. And I think this is what we've all been waiting for. So many people I've heard from say, I'd love to teach, but I don't know how to teach. I don't know what to teach to people. I don't know where to get materials that I can use to teach them. And I believe the program that Rena and Michelle are offering through Willow EOL is an answer to that question. So that's one reason I invited them to do this workshop today. Also because after I heard about the Legacy Love Letter workshop, I've been wanting to do that myself and create my own letter. And I thought that would be something really fun for all of us to participate in. So I'm going to go in the background and let Rena Lazar and Michelle Pante from Willow EOL take over and do your presentation.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And welcome each and every one of you to this interactive Willow workshop where you'll discover how writing a lasting message can impact your relationship. Sorry, I'm also letting people in. Relationships here and now, and also learn about the Willow EOL Educator program and just decide or discern if it's a good fit for you. So I want to begin with a gesture of respect, peace, and friendship by acknowledging that I and Michelle are both facilitating this event from the unceded Indigenous homelands of the Coast Salish people, which include the Squamish and the Musqueam and the Tsleil-Waututh people and all their ancestors who've lived and served as stewards of these lands since time immemorial. And if I invite you, if you're moved or inspired, to silently acknowledge the Indigenous ancestors of the lands you're on if you know them, and feel free to put the acknowledgement in the chat box if you'd like to. At this time, I also want to pause for a moment to commemorate the many lives of Black, Indigenous, and people of color that have been cruelly cut short from killings, injustice, and the impacts of systemic racism. As white settler women, Michelle and I, we have unearned privilege, and we're committed to doing the personal, organizational, and community-wide anti-racism work that we believe must take place. So thank you so much for being here. Today, we're going to do half of a Willow workshop, and that workshop is titled The 5-Minute Legacy Love Letter. And then after we do that half, because we don't have time for the whole thing, we're going to spend the last 30 minutes talking about the Willow EOL Educator program. At that time, Karen will also tell you about the bonuses she'll be offering if you sign up using her special coupon. And if you happen to know right now that you want to check out the Willow EOL Educator program, we've put the link, or we're going to put the link in the chat box. And we'll share that again at the end, of course. And in case you're brand new to Willow, and now we know that a bunch of you are, we are Michelle and Rena. I'm Rena, she's Michelle. And we're the founders of Willow End of Life Education and Planning, and we sometimes just call it Willow EOL. What we do is we create tools and learning opportunities to help people make the most of their precious and finite lives. What we do is very much inquiry-based. It's a inquiry-based approach, and we use the reality of our mortality as a portal for powerful learning and a pathway for living and loving fully now. We know that getting into action and completing heart-centered and pragmatic end-of-life planning tasks is an opportunity to enrich, energize, and connect, and sometimes even heal. So just a few things about housekeeping. Our gathering will take place over the next 90 minutes or so. And during that time, please, please, please do what you need to take care of yourself in all ways. And you'll need something to write on and to write with. So please either grab a piece of paper and a pen, or if you want to write on your device somewhere, type on your device somewhere, that works too. It will be helpful to have the 5-minute Legacy Love Letter free tool handy, but not 100% necessary. If you have it printed out or somewhere that you can access, that's great. And if you don't have it, don't worry. We're going to put the important stuff on the slides, and we'll give you a link to it at the end of the event in case you want it. What else? Let's just do, we thought we would just do a little check-in. So if your chat box isn't already open, please go ahead and open it by clicking on the little chat thing at the bottom. You probably already know that by now. And just for fun, we'd love to know where you're from. So maybe just say hi. Oh, I see a bunch of people already did that. But
For those of you who haven't.
For those of you who haven't, yes, please. It's really fun to see where you're all from. And I'll let you guys read it because there's too many to read. It's great. But I see that we're from all over the world. I love it. Okay, oh, I'm not getting to the bottom there. Great, and you can keep at that. So our goal here today is to create a space that's safe and feels relaxing and a good place for learning. And to do that, we need to have some shared agreements. So Michelle's just gonna share it. There she is. Share the screen, and I'm just gonna quickly point out to what our agreements are. Our expectation is that you will each respect that we are all individuals, each with our own values, beliefs, opinions, and experiences. You will keep in confidence and listen with patience and compassion to the stories you hear. And that's with the exception of my stories or Michelle's stories. Feel free to share those anywhere you want. You'll take personal responsibility for making the most of this learning opportunity for the benefit of your own lives and for our collective well-being. You'll refrain from comparison and giving advice or support unless someone either requests it or they consent to your offer. You'll do your best to participate and engage in this learning process, and you'll take care of yourself as you need by asking clarification questions, speaking up if something is distracting or bothering you, and paying attention to what you need to stay focused. So by continuing to participate in this session, we assume that you consent to these agreements.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna leave it there.
Thanks, Rena.
Awesome.
So Willow workshops are typically very interactive, a combination of solo reflection, pair sharing, small group conversations, as well as large group discussions. So we're going to give you a taste of that today because the learning that we support you to engage in is really about self-reflection, inquiry, and personal discovery. And we learn that each in our own way, and different modalities or ways of engaging help us with that discovery process. So just to get warmed up to each other and what's to come, we are going to set up some breakout rooms with just a few people in each group, 3 to 4 people. And it's a chance to just introduce yourself to a small group. So you can visualize that you're sitting around perhaps a lovely round table, whether you're, under a nice shady canopy in the warmth with a bit of a breeze, or whatever works for you, or around with a cozy fire in the background, depending on where you're joining in from and what it's like there. Just imagine that this group is coming together around in a lovely setting. And you'll each have just 1 to 2 minutes to say hello. And what we invite you to do is just to repeat your name and where you're from, and just share very briefly what inspired you to attend this event. So what draws you here? And we will pause the recording when the groups take place, because this is an opportunity. There will be a recording of this shared as well. So for those folks who will be watching the recording, this is a chance for you to also pause and just think, what drew me here today? So you we'll be in Zoom limbo for a moment while the groups establish themselves. And sometimes when a group is formed, it's a bit awkward to figure out who goes first. So our request is that the person whose first name is closest to the start of the alphabet, that they begin. And you could just go in alphabetical order after that. So are we gonna, we're ready to roll, Rena?
We are ready to roll. Somebody just came in, but I'll have to sign them later. Okay. I'm going to open all the rooms and, oh, let me just make sure how much time I'm going to be 7 minutes with 15 seconds at the end to just be brought back here. See you on the other side.
Okay.
Hi, who's left here? Hang on a second. Some people, D, I'm going to assign you to room in 1 second. I'm going to assign you to room 5. There we go. That should work. There we go. Oh. Hi, Audrey. I'm just going to assign you to room 7. We're doing a little introduction. So here you go. Hi, Amy. Can you hear me? Amy, I'm going to assign you to room 11 because we're doing a little bit of group introduction. So you're going to be assigned to a small group and hopefully you'll know what to do. Just a second here.
Are you talking to me?
Hi, Amy. Yeah, just, oh, sorry. Give me 1 second, okay, Amy? I'm going to assign you to a group.
Okay.
Group 4. All right, that should work now. Hi. Sorry, so everybody else, you have to, Elisa, if you can just unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Pashta, hello, Pashta. So people are just doing a little introduction and there's only about, let me just check out what's how much time left. There's 4 minutes left. It's going to get a little hectic to try to put you in a
Well,
group.
nothing happened, so I was waiting and yeah.
Sorry about that. I went into a group and I was alone. So were you alone in a group? Was that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's weird. I don't, oh, and Pashta is, so why don't you just tell me? What brought you here today?
So my name's Elisa. I live in Oregon. It's supposed to be 110 in Portland, so I came to the coast today.
We're having the same thing.
It's historic highs. It's never
Yes, I'm in Vancouver. It's the same. Hi, Pashta. We're just doing a little introduction while everyone else is in a breakout room.
And I met Karen at an Afterlife conference a few years ago, and was very interested and impressed. And I'm a writer. I'm sporadically writing a memoir about my relationship with my father, and the added piece of it being a love letter for your heirs is an added incentive. So
yeah, great. That's nice. Thank you. And Pashta, I know who you are, but maybe you can tell Lisa.
Okay. I'm a practicing death, whatever. I work with people pan-deaths, so right through the whole process. And I'm also the co-founder and executive director of CINDIA, which is the Canadian Integrative Network for Death Education and Alternatives. And I wanted to say that in one breath. So I'm here in part because I know Rena and Michelle and really respect them, and also because of my own life, and also on behalf of CINDIA. And I'm sorry I'm late, Rena, but my browser decided to not work. It was updating itself and it froze. So it took me a while to get it out.
Yeah, we have a little extra glitch. For some reason, we can't assign anyone to be co-host. So I'm the only one who has control over everything. So I'm just like, ah. I don't know what happened that we can't do co-host, but it's okay. I know what I'm doing. Just might take a bit.
So what are they doing in the breakout rooms?
Okay, so Rebecca Lewis entered to the waiting room. Okay, I'm going to let someone else in. They're just introducing themselves. They're just saying, hi, this is who I am, and someone's going to join us in a second. And what motivated you to come today? That's pretty much what you've already told us.
Okay.
And here is Rebecca, who's joining. Hi, Rebecca. It's Rena here, and everyone else is in a little breakout group because they're just introducing themselves. They're just saying, this is who I am, and this is what motivated me to be here. So we still have about a minute and a half. So if you want to tell us that, that'd be great.
My name is Rebecca Lewis. I'm from Toronto. Why am I here? I've been on Karen's website for a while and I was very interested. Now I'm taking a break from her website. I don't know. I have had 3 friends, close friends, die last year within 70 years old. 1 6 months, 1 in 4 months. So I've really had a lot of time of reflection, of death and dying. We've had suicide in our family, a young person, my nephew. I'm a psychiatric nurse as well and have dealt with a lot of death. So, but it's more, and I'm on my 3rd stage or whatever it's called. And, you know, my friend has early dementia.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen when I have dementia? We have assisted death, assisted medical death here in Canada.
Yeah.
So
I
don't know.
Yeah, lots of big questions, right? Lots of big questions. Welcome. Well, we're in Vancouver. I don't know if we mentioned that. So anyway, I lived in Toronto for a little while, originally from Montreal. So.
Are you in Washington or Canada?
Canada, yeah. I should have said that at the beginning. I said where we are in terms of the Indigenous territories, but I didn't say the name of the place that most people would recognize. Yeah. Vancouver, BC.
Okay.
Maybe I'll mention that when we get back into the room, which is now. People are starting to come back. Hi, I was wondering where you two went.
Should we mute now again?
Yes, please. I'll mute you all, but where's my chat box? Hang on. I think everyone else is muted, but. Okay. And Michelle, someone wants to know where we are from other than the Coast Salish territories.
Yeah, we are based in what is called Vancouver, British Columbia on the west coast of Canada. Yeah. And we also didn't highlight that you can go, the website we put in the chat is for the Educator program, which we're going to speak more about at the end. But WillowEOL.com is like their mama site. And that's where you can read biographies about Rena and I. And that's where our free tools live in the shop, including the 5-minute legacy love letter. So perhaps we'll
put that at the end.
That in the end, yeah. So the first, the next part of our workshop is I'm going to share with you an example of a legacy love letter that I wrote to my brother. And I'll speak more about the relationship with my brother afterwards. So, and just a reminder, if you're not muted, if you could mute yourself, please. Yeah. We have a little bit of background noise taking place. You got it? Okay. Thank you. So, dear Mario, my one, my only, my brother. I realize that life is unpredictable and either of us could die suddenly. I want you to know how much I love you, and I fear that you don't know this. My life is richer for being your sister. You've taught me many things, including about loyalty and friendship, determination and commitment to being well, and working hard to provide for your family. You've also given me the gift of being Zia Shell to your beautiful kids, Mia and Luca. Thank you for being you. Mario, can you please forgive me for the many times I've been stingy with my love and affection? It's my own stuff that gets in the way. I'm sorry, very sorry if my ways of being have had you, my one, my only brother, feel anything less than cherished. I love you now and always. I wish you a life full of love and joy and a sense of awe and wonder at the beauty of it all. I hope you feel cherished for being your precious, unique self. I hope you feel a sense of peace and fulfillment with your life now and always. Love, Shell, your one, your only, your sister. It's a bit, I have read this many times since first writing it, but right here and now today, I'm kind of surprised at the fact that I moved again. So before we dive into writing a legacy love letter, creating an opportunity for you to do that, we wanted to spend a few minutes talking about our perspective on what this letter is and what it's not. You may have heard of terms like a spirit will or a legacy letter or an ethical will. And historically, these are documents that were written to individuals, and sometimes they were written to a broad audience. So within Willow, what we've created are tools to support two distinct ways to write a lasting message to people you care about and future generations. The first one is a legacy love letter, and that's what we're exploring today. And that's something that you write to an individual or a specific group of people. So it could be a family member or a friend, could be your grandchildren or your siblings or members of your book club. So a specific letter for a specific person or peoples. And a heart will, which is another tool we have, and again, we'll give you a link to get there at the end. That's intended for a broader audience, and it could be used at your goodbye ritual, at a funeral or memorial, celebration of life, or just left with your important documents. So today we're focusing on the legacy love letter. And this communication piece is something that, to our hearts and minds, is to be written as if it's the last communication that someone's going to have from you. So we want to be really clear that the word love is in there for a reason. This is not the place to work out your issues. If you have issues to work out, write that letter first, or have your own process too. And I'll tell you a bit about mine to get that stuff out, because you need to get it out of your system or off your chest, and then write your legacy love letter. So that's what I had to do in the case of my brother. When I sat down to write a 5-minute legacy love letter, I first, was sitting at the computer typing, and I would describe what came out first was a lot of shaming and a lot of blaming, a lot of really ugly stuff. We have our issues that need working out. And I knew that if I were to die the next day, I would feel heartbroken to think that he didn't have something from me that really expressed the love that was underneath all the crap. So I had to get that stuff out of my system, but it really wasn't too hard after that to sort out what's the loving message, a lasting loving message that I really wanted him to hear from me. So I want to repeat that this letter is intended to be the last communication the person ever receives from you.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the letter. So we're going to be referencing the Willow's tool that's called the 5-minute legacy love letter. Sorry, you may have downloaded that before and you have it handy. And if you don't, that's a-okay. But if you do have it handy, this is the time to look at it. We're going to share the key points on the screen anyway, so don't worry about it. And we'll give you a chance at the end to download it. So you'll see at these are the key points that exist at the very bottom of the tool. And they give you 6 prompts. And these prompts can be used as guides to help you write your letter. And they don't have to be used. You can use one of them, you can use as many as you want, or you can use none of them if you have already a different direction you want to go into. But notice that they're all about love. And except, for example, the I forgive you for should only really be used if it will be received as an expression of love. That can sometimes, be funny. But you may, like I said, focus your whole letter on just one prompt if that works for you. So I'm going to set up some breakup groups while Michelle keeps going.
Okay. I was looking through our participants. Okay, so I will keep that up on the screen, the prompt there. So what we're going to do next is have we're going to put you into pairs, and you're going to have a one-sided conversation with another participant from this group. And you're going to, while looking at them in your pair share over Zoom, imagine that you're speaking to the recipient of your legacy love letter. So this is an oral legacy love letter, and it's the warm-up for the written. So if you're someone who's listening to this recording after the fact, you want to imagine that it's this last letter or communication that this person's ever going to get from you. And these prompts are meant to help you have this conversation. You don't have to use all of them. The important thing is to practice first by speaking aloud. So in the pair share, this is an attentive listening exercise, right? So the listener is really just listening without a lot of expression, just attentively receiving what the speaker has to say. And the speaker's job is to actually use the prompts, and we will put them in the chat as well, but use the prompts and pretend you're speaking to the person you're going to write to. So for example, if I was writing to my daughter, I would say let's say Karen's my partner, I would say, Karen, I'm writing to my daughter and her name is Tekla. And then I would begin. Tekla, thank you for being you. What I love and appreciate about you is fill in the blanks. The ways you enhance my life include. And I could go through all 6 prompts, or I could just talk around, one of them. So when listening to each other, again, remember to just have quite neutral facial expressions and not to be, like raising your eyes in alarm or laughing, or you're just receiving. And if the speaker actually just talks for 30 seconds and they're like, I'm done, you just give them a bit of space and then invite them to say, please say more. And if you're the speaker and you start using the prompts to say a few things and then you're like, I don't know what else to say, please just repeat yourself. the easiest thing to do here is to start talking about what you want to say. The challenge and the invitation is to speak directly to the person, right? You pretend you're speaking to your brother, your partner, your mother, your father, your friend. You know, dear John, dear Zoe, and share what you have to share to the listener. So you will have about maybe 3 minutes or so each. Is that a good time, Rena? I wonder if we want to.
Sure, let's do 3 minutes.
Yeah, so each person will be a speaker for 3 minutes, and then you'll switch. There will be a notification that comes up on the screen that says it's time to switch. And we ask you to also just be mindful about that, because this is pretty intimate and beautiful, and you might just forget about that. But you each want to have a turn to be the speaker and the listener. And are we ready to roll?
Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, everybody should be in a, oh, there's somebody not in a pair. I think people are coming, going. Let's just try this. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, so I just want to say that, you know, we recognize that as soon as we said there was going to be some sharing in groups, a bunch of people dropped off the call. And that's totally a-okay. That's not how we do things. Willow workshops are always engaging and interactive. And that's not in everyone's comfort zone. But what we know is that there's an enormous amount of learning and personal discovery available when we connect with others around these important topics.
Okay, one person did ask me not to be in a room, and what I've done for you is I've put you in a room by yourself. So you may leave that room or just hang out, okay?
So actually, Rena, what I neglected to say is that when people come back, you're gonna introduce the letter writing, or are we gonna just go right into it?
Yeah, so when we come back to the full room, you can stop sharing the screen now because I've put those prompts in the chat.
Thanks.
But when you come back, as soon as you come back, oh, there's somebody coming in, then you can start writing that letter. But we'll talk about it when you come back, so don't worry about it. So I think everyone is in a room, and if not, we will deal with that. I'm looking. Oh, there's somebody. Oh, okay, I'm gonna open all rooms, and then let me just remember which is the one with a single person. Okay, and I'll try to put everyone in pairs. Have fun, see you in a bit. Claire, are you here? I'm going to put you in a room in a second. Where are we here? Sorry. Hi, Claire, do you hear me? Claire, do you hear me? I'm going to assign you to a room right now. If I can just remember which room it was, give me a second here. It is room 12. Okay. Assign to room 12. Okay, so the other, Michelle and Karen, there is someone in a room by themselves. God, I hope it's not the same. Oh God, it happened again. Same person who just said I was in a room by myself. I'm gonna bring her out, or I'm gonna go. Can one of you go in with her?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Mira, she's by herself, okay?
Okay, I'll do it.
I don't know how to do it now. Shoot, where, because you're, okay, you were down there. So Mira is room 4. I don't know, up here. Michelle, move you to room 4. Okay, gone. And now there are 2 people in the waiting room. I'm going to admit them. And I'm going to put, I guess they could be in a room by themselves. I mean, together. This is actually complex to do in a big crowd because is anyone else by themselves? Yes, Liz is by themselves. Okay. Shoot. Hi, Shar and Loretta. No, Sandra. All right. Oh, no, wrong room. Sandra. Hang on. Room 15. Sandra, I'm going to put you in room 15 with someone, and she will explain to you what we're doing. Is that okay? Oh, she's still connecting to audio. She's gonna be totally lost if I just throw her in there, right? Or unless she was here already. What should I do? I'm just gonna throw her in there. She's in a room with someone. And that should be, oh, it's Adrian. Oh, she wanted to be by herself, right? This is stressful.
Stressful. Oh my
Pairs
gosh.
are hard because, you know, like if there's an extra person, you just throw them in another room, but it has to be exactly two. So I just threw this person into a room and she's going to be like, what am I doing here?
What's going on?
Yeah. Okay, now everyone is in a pair. It's so funny because one person texted me, messaged me saying, I was in a room by myself before. I said, oh, I hope that doesn't happen again. And then I realized it did. So that's why I put Michelle with them.
Oh, the same person?
It was the same person. I'm in the room and then I realized there she is by herself again. How's that possible? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I'm glad I'm not taking care of that part.
This is a complex, like, I've done this a gazillion times and it's stressful.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would request from you, Karen, is if you can keep an eye on the chat box. Somebody's just coming in now and we're just going to talk to them. Okay. But if you can keep an eye on the chat box, although people are sending me like individual messages, but so I think this person, we're just going to tell them what we're doing. We're not going to, it's too late for them to join a room. Okay.
Okay.
Hi there. Hi there, Faith. Can you hear me, Faith? You're muted, but and you can feel free to unmute yourself. But this is Rena from Willow and Karen Wyatt, who I'm sure you know, and everyone else is in a little breakout room with a pair, and it's a bit. Oh, here's somebody else, and it's a little bit late to go in there. So we'll just explain to you what they're up to, if that's okay. So Terry is just joining us as well. And let's just, yeah, I know that they're on its side. Terry, if you hear us, I'm Rena from Willow End of Life Education and Planning. And of course, Karen Wyatt is there and you know Karen. And everybody else is in a pair breakout room, which is why you only see us right now. And that room is gonna end in like 2.5 minutes. So we're not gonna put you in a room right now, but basically what they're doing is they are practicing the prompts of the 5-minute legacy love letter. So I'm going to put the prompts in the chat box for you again, so you can see what they are, because I know you won't see what's been in the box before. So there they are in the chat box. Those are the prompts. And when this, in a few minutes, when everyone comes back, we're going to invite you to actually write a letter. We're going to give you 5 minutes to write a letter to somebody in your life, or it could be one person, dead or alive, and it could be a group of people like my siblings, my grandchildren, my book club. And these prompts, thank you for, what I love and appreciate about you is, the ways you enhance my life include, I forgive you for, please forgive me for, and my hopes and dreams for you are. They're just meant to help you. You don't have to use them, but you may use one or more of them if it helps. So actually, if you want, you can start right away, but the rest of the group is going to start. Basically what they did is they did it out loud to a partner, and that's a really great exercise if you have a chance to do that after the fact. You can actually do it with somebody, or you can say it out loud to the mirror, or you can just say it out loud to the air, but it really helps to say it out loud first. Somehow it comes out differently than when you write. So that's what we're doing. And everyone should be back in about a minute. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Oh, you're muted still, Faith. You're still muted. Do I have to ask to unmute? I'm going to ask to unmute. You're still muted.
There I am.
There you are.
Do you have any questions or anything?
Well, you said I opened up the chat, but I don't see anything there.
Oh, okay. You know what? Let me put it again, because sometimes it doesn't. Here, I'm going to put it one more time. It's going to everyone. And it says Legacy Love Letter Prompts. Do you see it now?
No.
That's weird.
Let's see.
Oh, I know why. I have it to going to everyone who's in the waiting room, but of course there is no one in the waiting room. Let me try that one more time. I hope I didn't do that before. Now you should see it. Oh God, I hope I didn't do that before.
There we go.
You did do it before. No, I did it right before.
No, I can
I got
see
it.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Because I just
Oh, we have to mute everybody. Hello. So now, welcome everyone back from your pair share. Now is the time to sort of get it done. So we invite you to write your legacy love letter, ideally to the same person you just spoke out loud to. And we'll set the timer for 5 minutes. And we invite you to silently write your legacy love letter in those 5 minutes. And we're going to mute ourselves. And you just go, dear so-and-so.
Yeah. And I just want to say, like, this is not the time to take a break. This is not like, oh, I'll do it later. Just do it. You can do this right now in 5 minutes. You can create something beautiful that will transform your relationship.
She's right.
And we have a lot more to go. So thank you guys for being with us through all of this. Thank you guys.
For somebody who just came in, I don't know if you were here before, we are spending 5 minutes to write a legacy love letter to someone in your life using the prompts that I'm going to put again in the chat. Okay. That's why everybody's quiet. There's about just under 1 minute left, everybody. Somebody just joined, I think. We just have about 20 seconds left to write our 5-minute legacy love letter, and then we're going to talk about it. So if you just joined the meeting, just hang tight in this silence, and we'll be talking in a minute. In a few seconds, for that matter. Okay.
So if you can turn your attention back to the whole group now. So in a moment, we'll open it up to hear from anyone who wants to share what that was like for them. But first, I invite you to put a word, 1 or 2 words in the chat that describe how you're feeling right now.
Just a word or very short phrase.
Don't know how.
Okay. There is on your toolbar, there is a little button that says chat. If you don't see it, we won't be working that out today, but you can open that up. If you click on that, a box opens up, and then at the bottom of that box, there's a place to write. If you want to hang on at the end of the call, we can review that. So for future, you would know. But thank you for letting us know. So some beautiful, beautiful words that came up, and just very real words. We want to point out that this can be an exercise that brings up a lot of heartache and sorrow, anger, vulnerability, as well as other experiences, gratitude, relief, sense of being blessed. It's all valid, and it's all true because it's what's happening for you, and we're just each in our own process with these relationships. So thank you for sharing. We invite now anyone who would like to share about what it was like to write a legacy love letter or do the oral exercise, or if you want to read an excerpt from your letter, you're welcome to do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I only have time for like 1 or 2 or 3 people max, but I'm going to put, in case you need to raise your hand, and I just put I put share in the chat box to find how to raise your hand.
So it's the reactions button. Green has written it in the chat. If you can read that, it says you can click on the reactions button, which is along the toolbar, and use the raised hand. Okay, I think, yes, Megs. And you need to unmute yourself, please, Megs. Thank you.
Hello, what do you
Hi.
want from me then?
Would you like to tell us what it was like to do that exercise, or read a part of your letter if you wish, as you wish?
It was really eye-opening because it was to my brother Mike, who is older than me, but whom I love a lot. And I'm really surprised at what I had to say to him.
Mm-hmm.
Things like, you are so clear-eyed and irreverent. I love you, my brother. You're Mike. You always make the shot. You sink the putt. You hit the mark. I'm so happy we've been able to spend more time together in recent years. Our beach winters have helped me greatly through tough times, and your understanding and empathy have been so valuable. And this is a man who is, well, he's kind of cynical and sarcastic like me. So it's funny for me to say these things to him. I'm not sure they wouldn't make him uncomfortable.
Thanks for sharing that, Megs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, you need to unmute yourself, please. Yeah.
Yes, I enjoyed it, except, if I may say, the "I forgive you for" part is very loaded, and I think a potential pitfall, and would be a turnoff unless very, very carefully written with a lot of background. And I'm leaving that off my love letter.
Thanks for pointing that out, Bob. Yeah, we made some comment about that, and we actually have internal discussions about whether to remove it or not. And it can be very meaningful in a particular circumstance, but it is the one where it's the most tricky. And that's exactly, your approach is exactly what we'd encourage. That doesn't feel right for you, so don't do it, right? This is a proposed guide. We'd love to hear from one more person.
Anybody else know that whatever, yes, there we go.
So Rebecca and then Karen, and we'll do two more.
Yeah. Yes, I'll be very brief. I was to my daughter, and I guess my I mean, maybe I need to discuss a bit more, but it's like, these are things that she needs to hear now. You know, I've been to too many memorials with children with their parents, and I went to one that was stunning, that there was some conflictual relationship. The things that the children said to the 200 people were there, it's like, where's dad? You know, dad needs to hear that instead of the 200 people. So what I'm trying to do in my life is start talking about that. Let's do something beforehand, because I think I need to let my daughter know this. I'm going to give her it was very moving, and I need to tell her this tomorrow or next week. In fact, not, she needs to know this now. I need to let her know this now. That's what I wanted to say.
And if that feels, thank you, Rebecca, if that feels right for you, of course, right? That's part of what comes up. People recognize, maybe you write a letter and you give it to someone, or maybe it prompts you to have a conversation. You're thinking, why am I not talking about this? And you might also leave it in its written form, so there's something concrete to pass on. And who says you only need to write one to that person, right? You might have another iteration to say at a different time in life. So we'll just hear, Karen, we'd love to hear from you, and then we'll go on. You need to unmute yourself. Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to quickly say, I wrote a letter to my brother, and there were things that possibly need to be forgiven from the past. But what the words that came to me were to say to him, I recognize that you had a really hard time for a while when we were younger. And I'm sorry if I wasn't there for you. And if there were things I could have done but didn't do that might have helped you during that time in our lives together. And suddenly I realized I don't need to say, I forgive you for the destruction and damage you caused, more to say, I'm sorry if I didn't recognize that you were hurting and I wasn't able to help you. So that's what came to me.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thanks, Karen. So this exercise is one that we can all use in our own lives, and it's also something that can be used to help other people leave lasting messages. So we've heard stories from practitioners about this is pre-COVID times where end-of-life doulas were using the 5-minute legacy love letter tool to help people who were dying to express love and even reconcile relationships. Sometimes the doula was the scribe or the recorder. And we've also heard from hospice volunteer coordinators who incorporated the 5-minute legacy love letter into packages that the families would have, and then they could write letters to send to people who were in hospital as a way.
And of course, this can be done, even virtually. It doesn't have to only be face-to-face. Yeah.
Yeah. So we mentioned at the beginning that what we've just done here is about a half of the Willow workshop called the 5-minute legacy love letter. There are other activities and exercises in that workshop, including using this tool to write a 5-minute legacy love letter to yourself. So you could always try that, right? And this workshop is one of 10 workshops that are offered to Willow EOL educators to deliver to the people that they wish to deliver them for, whether that's virtually now for most of us still, or in person to your community or people you work with that are, if you have a practice, and to your clients, individuals or families. So this was a taste of what Rita and I have created inside our practice of Willow end-of-life education and planning for the past 5 years. And we'd like to tell you more about the Willow EOL Educator program, which is an opportunity for you to use our tools and materials inside whatever you're up to.
Thank you for that great segue, Michelle. So you can hear me, good. So the Willow EOL Educator program, it's essentially a licensing program. And what it does is it gives you access to Willow's expanding end-of-life education and planning tools and products, including what Michelle described, these 10 virtual workshops. So we give you is detailed scripts for each workshop. It gives you access to the end-of-life education and planning tool. Yes, I just said that. It also gives you advanced care planning and coaching tools. So if you happen to be a coach or someone who teaches about advanced care planning, we have very foundational tools that go along with that are universal. They're not specific to any particular region. On top of that, there's marketing support and professional and business development. We basically want you guys or anyone who's interested in this to take this material and run with it and change the world with it. We can't do this alone. We want as many of you to do it and do it well. So we're going to help you as much as we can by sharing everything that we've learned along the way.
I just say, sorry, yeah. I just want to say, what we recognize is that what we're providing are a whole bunch of tools that are intended to augment. We're not suggesting that anything anybody else is doing around end-of-life education isn't like amazing and we want more of that in the world. We're saying here's some additional tools to integrate.
Exactly. And the last point here is really one of the best parts. You get a growing community of heart-centered end-of-life educators. So right now we have 32 people in the program, and they're from all over North America. And we would love to see people from other countries as well. But of course, we'd love to grow it. We have 9 or 10 different states, 4 different provinces. It's really great. So basically, the program has 3 components to it. And Michelle's just going to share another screen. And they're basically learn, educate, and earn and grow. So I'll just start talking about it until she gets it ready. So in the learn aspect, that's to help you get to know and make use of our material. So that's where you're a participant, where you're a learner, just like you were today for the last hour. We're offering real-time workshops and twice a week. For most weeks through July and August, we're doing twice. We have them twice a week for most weeks through July and August. And then we'll be adding another cycle sometime in the fall. And the real-time workshops include all of the 10 Willow workshops that you'll be able to lead to whomever you want. And there's a handful of learning and development workshops on such topics like how to make money as a Willow EOL educator, or marketing yourself, or how to use our materials in your practice. These workshops are available to you many times, as many times as you want, as long as you're subscribed to the program. And so you subscribe to the program, and then to become licensed, which actually means we give you all the material. We don't want you to just do a few things before you actually get the virtual keys to the knowledge base. And just 3 things. One is to complete 1 orientation overview workshop. That's where we offer that at least once a month. And that's where we kind of just go over and make sure we all are in the same understanding. And then any 2 of the Willow workshops. So basically, if you signed up, by July 11th, then by a week later, you went to the first 3 workshops, you would be ready. So there's a July 11th, there's an orientation overview. July 12th and 13th, there are 2 different Willow workshops. So by July 12th and 18th. So by July 18th, you would be licensed. So that's the first component, the learning. The second component is educating. So that's where you become the educator. So as soon as you're licensed, you can lead any or all of the Willow workshops. And you'll also be able to integrate Willow's workshops, all the exercises in the workshops, our products, our tools, any of that into your own workshops and your own events and your own practice. So you've just had a taste of our heart-centered approach. And that's everything. That heart-centered approach and inquiry approach is throughout. And our invitation is for you to use this approach and our materials to help others discover who and what matter most. Now and in preparation for their inevitable death and dying and after death care. So we've witnessed, like we've seen this, there's a transformative impact that these materials have had. And I think I've witnessed it here today with some of the comments you put in the chat box. It changes relationships right here and now. It connects you, makes you feel inspired. And all that as a result of this work. As I've said, we do want to change the world with this material, and we can't do it alone. So the third thing is earning and growing. So you're learning, you're educating. Now we want you to actually, if that's important to you, we want to help you earn and grow. So we want to help you generate income and grow your practice with our materials. We, in addition to the learning and development workshops that we offer, it also gives you dozens of tools and templates and information sheets that you can easily find. And use it with your audience. So if you want to write a proposal to get a sponsorship, we have templates for that. If you want to market your workshops, we have ways to show you that. We have all that sort of covered for you, basically, so you don't have to start from scratch. Everything we've learned, we want to share with you. And then the other way you can earn is anybody can become an affiliate, which means that if you ever sell, say, our 7 Tools workbook or anything else we have in the shop, you can get 35% commission. But if you're a Willow EOL educator, you get 50%. That actually includes everything except for the Willow EOL workshop, which the Willow EOL educator program, which we are in the process of figuring out. So we have 3 heart-centered so we have these 3 heart-centered end-of-life education learning areas. You want to show us that? Yeah, she'll show you that in a second. So you have just experienced the first one, which is, you've experienced the second one. The first one is making sense of life and death. There we are. So in making sense of life and death, we have topics like how to stop procrastinating with end-of-life planning, values, wishes, and who and what matter most, and conscious health, personal care, and final wishes. And they're all very foundational. They're not about like, here's a form, fill it out. It's more like stepping back and figuring out what's important in my life. And when you determine that, suddenly you're ready to go and dive into those documents you may have procrastinated to do. And for that, we also have a series of tools to use in your practice that go along with that. The second learning area is legacy love letters and heart wills. And you just experienced the 5-minute legacy love letter workshop. We also have one that's dedicated completely to writing your heart will as a manifesto for living. So writing your heart will isn't just about having that thing ready for the day you die. It's really about knowing what's important right now so you can live the life you say you want to live. And how to create and live your legacy kind of builds on those two. And finally, there's one called remembering and being remembered. And then the final one, departure directions, is all about, basically departure directions is Willow's term, our term for your written guidelines that are determined by your values and your priorities for how you wish to be cared for and remembered after you die. So this learning area explores several factors that you want to consider. And what's fabulous about this area, this learning area, is that when you start thinking about the nitty-gritty of what you want to happen to you after you die, you start thinking about everything that's important in the end. And what we've discovered, and it's written right there in the quote, all that matters in the end actually matters now. And people do these workshops not knowing what to expect, and they walk away just feeling like, oh my goodness, I didn't ever think that thinking about the nitty-gritties of my after-death care would have such an profound impact on me now.
Maybe, Rena, I'm just thinking about sharing an example of that. So I can do that. And if you want to share one as well. So the idea that, for myself, I was thinking of that when I die, I really want my body to be honored. I want the people who are I'm most intimate with to wash me, to be with me, to wrap me in natural fabrics, because my body's been the vehicle through which I've lived this life. And it needs, I feel this compulsion to want to honor it. And soon after doing a departure directions workshop and articulating that, one day I was communicating with a friend about how proud I was because I had slept in and I felt really rested. And it just dawned on me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so clear. I want to honor my body when I'm dead. And I struggle on a daily basis to honor my body now with enough rest and movement and all the things it needs. So this end of life planning work is valuable in and of itself. We need to pragmatically plan and holistically plan for what's going to happen in our dying, our death, and our after death care. The unexpected, like enormous, inexplicable bonus that people come to realize with this work is that it actually is very instructive. It helps clarify for us who and what matters to us now.
Yeah, and I don't have an example that can top that one, but I can tell you that it's similarly but different, is that when I was putting together my departure directions, I was struggling with how much of my inherited faith that I'm Jewish that I wanted to include in my death rituals, because Judaism has really great and beautiful death rituals, and I just wasn't sure what I wanted, and I was struggling with it. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Anyway, and then it dawned on me like, oh, well, that's because I'm struggling with my current relationship with Judaism and my relationship to Judaism right now. And so I took some time to dive a little bit deeper into it, and it really like opened up so many possibilities. I'm just getting the shivers talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, if you have some sense of wanting to really know more about who you are or facilitate that personal discovery for other people, heart-centered, inquiry-based end-of-life planning is a really powerful tool for learning about who you are in the here and now.
Exactly. That was great. So Michelle, if you can go back to the website and go to the what's included, and I just want to quickly go through that. So this is on the, on the other, there you go. So there's so much that's included in this program, and we encourage you to take a good long look at it on your own when you have time. But I'm just going to highlight a few things now, as soon as you click that thing. Yep, click. There you go. So there's a page that's just, so it starts with learning and development. So you get to experience the workshops. You get to have your keys, your metaphorical keys to the knowledge base. So it has 24/7 materials for you to use however you want. Not however you want, but almost however you want. There's the business and professional and business development workshops. There's direct support from us. We're really good at like brainstorming with you and saying, oh, this is your situation. And Michelle is particularly enamored with this, and she's really good at it to just help people like business solve and problem solve. Peer support, like I said, there's 32 educators that are waiting to meet you. And then we are planning to have one annual virtual retreat. So then in marketing promotion, you'll eventually get a profile page on our website. We're definitely ready to promote your events on our website. So if you have events that you are open to the public, we will help promote them. And if they're virtual, you can bring people from all over the world. And we want to help you grow your audience and build your brand. And there is more. When you sign up for this program, you also automatically get registered for the 7 Tools for Making Sense of Life and Death online program. And that's an online program that's based on this workbook. And that's really good foundational stuff that you can do at your own time. As I mentioned before, you get this primo affiliate partner status, which means you get 50% and 30 instead of 35% on selling any of our stuff if you want to do that. And you get this wholesale discount. So I think that's that. I'm going to show you now some things that you wouldn't be able to see if you just went to the website yourself, because hey, why not? So let's start with Willow Workshops additional resources. So under additional resources, we're not going to show you each one, but we have a workshop overview, unless you want to show that, Michelle. So that is a document that talks about each of our workshops on one page each, and just tells you the basics about each one. So she's just going to choose one, like writing your heart well, click. And then that page tells you, okay, for writing your heart well as a manifesto for living, you want to move your cursor there. Here are the key messages. There's the promotional material, and there's a sample of the graphics that go with it. For every workshop, we have horizontal, vertical, and square graphics. And you have one of those for each page. So this is a great document to look at when you first start out to think, okay, what do I want to offer first? Or if you have somebody who's going to sponsor you, like a funeral home or a cemetery or a hospice, you might present this document to them and say, here's what I can offer. What's of interest to you? So that
I just want to offer, when we say sponsor, funeral home, cemetery, hospice, that's all very focused on end of life. The plethora of sponsorship options, if that's a model that ends up working for you, includes, financial planners, insurance companies, healthcare facilities, I could estate planning firms, like basically anybody who wants, could be yoga studio, anybody who's supportive of personal growth and development. Maybe that's their focus, or it could be their focus is on end of life education and planning.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to show you now one of the scripts. So you're in the Willow workshop. So back to the other page. Oh, you have it already.
Sorry about that.
That wrong one.
Wrong one. I thought I had it open, but I will just go
and click one. Okay, so you're gonna, when we say we get these detailed scripts, this is what it looks like. It's basically a Google Doc that when you get access to it, you copy it, you make a copy, and it's your own copy. And once you make your copy, you can edit it away. And so what you would do, if you would just scroll down to the main document, to the big.
Yeah, close your eyes.
Go to the table. Wait, stop right there, actually. Stop right there. So it doesn't matter. Just go to the script, doesn't matter. Go right down.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of a delay in my movement.
Okay, so the scripts all look similar in that they're created in this big kind of matrix or table. And the left-hand column, the bigger one, is always the script itself, like what you'd actually say. Now, you don't have to say this word for word. It's really there to make it easy for you. So the words are there for you to say and add your own stories, add your own examples, add your own, tone of voice, everything. You could even, change a few little things. We have a whole bunch of guidelines of what you can and cannot do, but generally it's there to make it easy for you. And on the right-hand side, if you just stop there, so you see like there's a little number A1. It says our gathering will take place over the next couple hours. Just to make it sure, we say adjust to reflect the duration of your workshop. We have all the instructions on the right. So here under agreements, there's another A1. It says share a screen and read this. Below that, it says stop sharing the screen. So we have every step of the way for a virtual workshop, what you need to do. So all you have to do is take the script, kind of make it your own and practice, and you're ready to do it. And so we have that for pretty much for every single of the 10 workshops. And we're going to be adding workshops and we don't know exactly how soon, but we will be adding in face-to-face in-person workshops as well.
I just want to show you the pretty graphics.
Okay.
And I did have them open, but somehow they're...
And while she's opening, I'll just say that I do see the questions. There are questions in the chat and we will get to them if we have time. I hope we do.
Well, let's just stop in a minute or two, right?
Yeah. And one of them is about the love letter. Or a few of them are about the love letter, actually.
Okay.
So that's just showing you some of the graphics, like 7 tools. Oops, very fast. Yeah, so pretty. I think we should just do a quick overview of the learning and development and just say what they're about just quickly. So so there's 5 headings. And we've talked about it a little bit, but orientation overview is the only one you absolutely have to take. And that's just so we are all on the same page about what this program is about and how to make the most of it. And yeah, then we have one that's ways to make money as a Willow EOL facilitator if making money is a priority for you. And so in there we're not going to open each one, but we have the detailed list of all the tools and the products. We have a coaching services agreement. So say you're a coach and you want to create an agreement, you should have an agreement. Don't start from scratch, use ours, and then check it out with your lawyer. Sponsorship proposal, again, like if you could, there are 2 ways to make money. One is to ask people who are coming to your workshops to pay. And of course you can offer it for free too, that's totally an option. But if you did want to make money, you can offer them for free, for a fee, or you could get a sponsor, which is what we did a lot of. And then the public come for free or maybe a reduced price. So that's that. And then using Willow materials in your practice, that's a bit of a repeat. Let's go to this one, optimize Willow support. So in this one is just a submission form. So when you're ready to create a workshop, we can easily get it on our website. And then finally, marketing yourself. We'd love to show you the badge. So you will, when you become a licensed Willow EOL facilitator, Educator, thank you. You'll get a little badge, which is really nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's slow, but here we go. Yeah. And one Can I just say one thing that sometimes people have asked us about is, I did my, say, end of life doula training with organization X, or I'm a teacher at college Y. Is there any conflict of interest for me to be a Willow EOL educator and still be in those roles? And absolutely not. We have no interest in exclusivity. We want to augment what you're up to and see that integration with other practices, whether you're a celebrant or a Reiki teacher or who knows what, a chaplain, a funeral director, a nurse. The people who are currently in the program are in all of those roles, including librarians and health administrators. So we want to augment. There's no exclusivity. And there's also no sense of like, you know what, you better be the first person in Colorado because we're only going to allow one person in Colorado. We really believe that each person who's drawn to this role of being a Willow EOL educator has their own perspective and life experience and will draw an audience or a group of people to work with unique to who they are. And that, it's our vision that every hour of every day in every time zone, there could be a Willow EOL workshop taking place or somebody getting support using our tools. So
and on that, somebody asked about more in need of the service, less ready to train others. Shall I look up a practitioner in my area? On our events page, we're still waiting for these new educators to actually start offering workshops, but we have a few that do. So on the willoweol.com/events page, you'll see, you may see, I don't know what's there at the moment.
Yeah, I'll put it up. There are
that's
some.
where you would see some Willow workshops being offered. And so you can check those out and attend them if you're just looking to attend. Yeah.
And just as we've been saying that for some people, this is a practice that they're going to integrate to their volunteer work. That's great. And for other people, this is really a source of their livelihood. So the educators whose workshops you'll see coming up, they charge a fee for service. And sometimes they do them for free. It depends on the intention of the event and the audience. And, if you look in detail to their events, you'll see the opportunity to have a healthy return on investment for the program. I feel like we need to answer questions.
I do too, but I want to start with answering one that's up a little higher up in the chat. And that has to do with the legacy love letter for a minute. There's an interesting discussion about when to give it. And the idea is like, so we say, write this letter as if it's the last communication they'll ever get from you. And that's the intention to write it. Like that's the urgency. That's that's what you want to put in your head. Now, once you've written it, as a few people already have mentioned, you might feel like, I don't want to wait and I want to give it to them now. And that's great. It's fine. Like it's totally up to you. And sometimes just writing it, even if you don't give it to them, can change your relationship to them. Some people write to people who have already deceased, who have already died. And of course, they're not going to physically give it to them, but the writing of the letter does change something. So the act of writing, whether you burn it afterwards, changes something. And of course, the possibility of giving it to them in the here and now or speaking the words to the here and now is always an option. It's still important to write it if it's the last.
If you choose to give it here and now, what you really need to do is check in with yourself about your expectations. Right? So that's just, you need to know that you've had your process, you've said what you need to say, and you do not know how it's going to go when you leave that letter or what kind of reaction or response you will get or not.
Yeah, they may be so appreciative and they may say nothing. You don't know. So why don't we open it up for questions about anything, but let's start with anything about the Educator program. Why don't we also put, I'm going to put this in the chat box about getting more information. Let's put it right there. So basically what I'm saying, what I put in the chat box is if you want to just take your own time and look through the program, there's tons of information on that link that's in the chat box.
Do we also not need to give Karen some time to talk about?
We do.
Yeah.
Karen, go for it.
Right. I have decided just for this group of people who registered for this event to offer some bonuses. So let me see. I just have a couple of slides to share with you. There they are. So anyone who signs up by July 7th and uses my coupon code, which is just my name, Karen Wyatt. So just type that in where it says coupon code, and then I will receive a list of your names if you've signed up. And what I'm going to give everyone, first of all, is a course that I created. It's called the 7 Lessons Wisdom Path course. And it's based on the 7 lessons that are 7 lessons for living from the dying that I write about in my books. So that's an 8-module course. It's all online, but it's self-paced. You can do the course at your own pace, your own schedule, whatever works for you. And it has lots and lots of resources and handouts with it as well, and lots of homework and activities to do during the course. But I'll give that to anyone who signs up who would like to have it. And also the ebook of my book, The Journey from Ego to Soul, which is the sequel to 7 Lessons for Living from the Dying. And then also I'm planning to have a 90-minute conversation circle scheduled. Right now it's set for September 10th at 1 p.m. Pacific. And unless I get a lot of feedback that for some reason that date wouldn't work for people and we needed to look for a different time, that's what I'm planning on, a time when we could just come together and see how things are going. And also if you got the course or read The Journey from Ego to Soul and wanted to talk about those, if ideas came up, we can use that 90-minute time to talk about some of the information there. So it's for those of you who are interested in being part of the Willow EOL Educators program. And if you're able to sign up by July 7th, because that's what lets you into the next session apparently of the program, if you sign up by July 7th, and then just use my name as the code and you'll get those bonuses. So I wanted to let you know about that.
Yeah. And we've had some, so we just put in the link in the chat, the link to get the 5-minute legacy love letter free tool. Inside our shop, there's 4 other free tools. This is the mama site of willoweol.com. The Educator program is its own website, and we'll put again the link to that and the Karen's coupon code. And there was a question about the fee, and yes, there is a fee. We are supporting people who wish to borrow our intellectual property to generate their own livelihood, if livelihood is something they want to use this material to generate. The program is $1,900 US. It can be paid, that money can be paid in installments, 4 quarterly installments, and there's no additional fee to pay installments. And there is a renewal fee after a 1-year term. That renewal fee is $1,200 US. And in your 1-year term, because that's what you purchase, you can come to every offering that takes place. So all of the Willow workshops that take place in the summer, in the fall, in the winter, and all of the learning and development that take place throughout the 1 year.
You can even set beyond the 1 year. As long as you're in the program, you can take the workshops anytime. So if you renew, you can keep taking workshops.
Yeah. And while I keep telling Rena, I really don't think we need to create anything new. I think we could just focus on spreading the word about what we've got. We do tend to keep making new tools and designing new workshops. So those will always be made available. And as Rena, I think one of us commented earlier, that all of these virtual workshops will be returned back to their in-person form. So those workshop scripts or that programming is also part of what will be offered. That's not available right this minute, but we're expecting to have that ready for probably the fall, because we know that there are communities that are gathering in person for workshops. Question.
Well, Karen, you had a question. You unraised your hand. Does that mean you're good?
No, I have a quick question.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned that the workshops are in July and August. Are they on just one day, or are they repeated during those times?
Do you want to explain?
I'm going to show, yeah.
Okay.
So we began the 2021 Willow workshop schedule in May. The schedule disappears once the workshop's finished. But for the remainder of the summer, every Sunday and every Monday, there's a workshop. They're at 12 p.m. and they're 2 hours long.
Pacific time, 12 p.m.
Pacific time, yeah. So this schedule, this is available at educators.willoweol.com, workshop schedule. And the timing right now of this event is geared toward encouraging folks to sign up in order to be, you don't have to start with this July 11th workshop. You could join.
If you sign up today, you can actually join our next two workshops on the June 27th, 28th, which are two Willow workshops. So you'll just be learning. And we've got those two workshops ready for next Sunday and Monday. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, like, to be licensed, you only need to do 3. And one is the orientation and overview, which Michelle, you stuck? Yeah.
Which you can be licensed on July 12th is the point.
Yeah. So you get orientation overview, which we do offer every month, and then any 2 Willow workshops. And we encourage you to come to as many, some of our current Willow, some of our current participants are coming to every single workshop, and some are just coming to some.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I have a really busy schedule, so I'd like to do this, but I'm worried about fitting it in. So
yeah, and then we're gonna have another intake sometime in the fall. We haven't settled on the dates yet, and all that means is that you can keep at it. Like if
the cycle will be repeated.
Yeah, it'd be pretty much the same cycle. Although every time we do a learning and development workshop, there's always some different nuances. So some people come to the same one more than once, and they learn something new. And same with the Willow workshops. You can always learn something new. You can do it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, part of what I think maybe was communicated to you, particularly when I was sharing about my love letter with my brother, is that this is multi-layered work, right? So you could explore your hopes and fears about your inevitable death and dying in a workshop for the first time, and you could do that exercise 50 times and have new layers of revelation, particularly because something happens when you do it on your own. Something happens when you share in a pair, when you hear from others. You also, you identify, oh, that's another fear. Oh, I hadn't quite thought of that one. Or that's a refinement of my hope. So that's a beautiful thing too.
Yeah. I do want to mention something about the price. And this is specifically for those of you who are thinking, oh, I would like to incorporate this work into my practice, whatever the practice is. So the Willow Educate, we sort of had 3 testers, and 2 of them work together, and they've been offering a series. So that means they offer like a weekend. I don't know if that's what's on our website right now, but they offer 3 workshops, say a Friday night and 2 on a Saturday, and they charge a fee for the package. And they like to limit it to 12 people, so it's nice and intimate. And they're charging about $125 to $150 for this series. And they sell out. So that means in 1 weekend they make $1,500. That's Canadian dollars for them. So just to give you a perspective, if this is something you think, oh, I want to incorporate this into my practice, and I love delivering workshops, you will actually make back the money, the fee of this program quite quickly. And there are so many other ways, and we love brainstorming with you about the different ways you can generate income.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So we're very aware that this is an awful lot of information. Both there's an intensity of the experience of the 5-minute legacy love letter. We appreciate that. And we also appreciate the opportunity that Karen's given us to tell you more about the Willow EOL Educator program. We do continue to have information sessions specifically talking about the Willow EOL Educator program in July. I can just put a link to our events page. This is from the Mama site, willoweol.com. You can check out our information sessions on there. You can register, but when you go to the Educator's website as well, a pop-up comes that is inviting you to join an information session. So know that that's a possibility for you. And if you're ready to act today, then we welcome you, and we'd love to see you on Sunday.
And if you do purchase, don't forget to use Karen Wyatt to get all those wonderful extra bonuses.
Yeah, and practically how that will happen is you'll purchase using the coupon, and then between now and Karen's event in September, we will ensure Karen gets all those names and emails, and then she's going to follow up, and you'll receive those additional bonuses from her and an invitation to that event.
So I suggest we invite Karen, if you have anything you want to say to wrap up. And then if anybody wants to hang on and ask any specific questions, we can stay for another 5 or 10 minutes. Yeah. Karen.
I just want to say thank you so much, both for doing the legacy love letter. It was amazing. And someone wrote on here, that's the most impactful 5 minutes I've ever spent. And, you know, think about it. I mean, to think that in 5 minutes, you could actually shift your energy and your heart toward another person. It's incredible. And so I just imagine people out there who are already teaching, already coaching, already working with people, that these tools would be a huge asset to have, to be able to use in the work that you're already doing, and something fresh and new that you don't have to create yourself from scratch. So anyway, and then thank you for creating this educators program. It's something I myself kind of dreamed, like, wouldn't it be great if we had a program where people could come and get resources? But I never had the wherewithal to create it, and you two did. And I'm so grateful that you did. And I know it's been a huge amount of work for probably the last year or so, the two of you. More than that. I mean, I know it's a phenomenal. And so I'm very impressed with what you've put together, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a real act of love, and it's everything we got. You know, we're saying we've been doing this work for ourselves and in our community, and COVID allowed us to go global quickly, and to realize our dream of having people using our materials and incorporating them into their own practices throughout the world. And that's what we want, because we know that this work around heart-centered end-of-life planning actually transforms people's dying, but it also transforms their living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so for those of you who need to go, we are at the end of our 90 minutes. Have a great rest of the day. And if anybody else wants to hang on and ask us any specific questions, we will hang on for a little bit. And thank you so much, everybody, for being here.
Thanks so much. I want to take a picture of the chat to capture the nice comments.
Oh, wait, we can get the chat later.
I know.
Oh, there's Garrick.
So I don't know if you saw my question.
Hi.
Hi,
Amy.
Hi. So the 1,200, is that an annual renewal?
Yes. So for every year that you're borrowing our intellectual property, there's a fee. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I am so impressed by what you've created. I echo what Karen says, because I mean, it gives me a path forward. I had no idea what I might do with my training as an end-of-life doula, which I plan to just do with, you know, by donation for friends and family and that kind of thing. But I really like the educator part. I love to.
Great. Thanks, Amy. Where are you from, Amy?
California, Central Coast, around San Luis Obispo.
Nice. Okay, one person from California. I forget where.
Saratoga.
Okay.
Does anybody else have a question about anything that happened today?
I do.
Sure, Megs.
Hi. Are people already practicing using your training program?
Yeah, well, you mean engaged in the program or using it in their communities?
Practitioners using it in the community.
Yes. So when we began in May of this year, we had 2 people who had been with us for the past year. So they're very active, and it's their events that are on our website. And they actually went on to co-found the Death Doula Network of British Columbia. So they offer workshops all the time. And then one of our new so then 29 people came on board on May 2nd, and a few more since then. And one of the new educators is a bereavement specialist employed by a hospice. And in her situation, which is an interesting model, which we didn't speak about, her hospice actually purchased the Educator program. And they've assigned the license to her. So in her full-time job, she will be the only one using our materials, and she's not using it outside of her job. Her job is as a bereavement specialist, and she's using the workshops as part of staff and volunteer development.
Okay, I see.
And we've been hired to do that in the past as well. And also using the tools that we have available with her client work. And then finally, she actually was just talking to us and getting our support because we're very hands-on. The hospice is actually creating a fee for service for her to do volunteer development for other hospices.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to deliver Willow workshops as part of volunteer and staff development for other hospices. So it's actually a revenue generating model for the hospice.
Yeah, and some of our other educators are just on the edge of providing. A few of them have done some practice ones for free in their within their community just to get comfortable. Listen, I have to take my daughter to school, so I'm going to let Michelle answer the rest of the question. Sure. And I'll pop. Oh wait, I have to make someone else the host, or else we would end it. Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. One thing that came to my mind based on what Megs was asking and what I was replying with is just to highlight that when Rena and I began this journey, we really thought, we had this idea, of course, everybody could use Willow EOL, use this educational material to enhance their living and prepare for their inevitable death. But we were focused on reaching the general public. We were not focused on elders or the dying or people grieving. We were like, this is for people who think they have decades to live. It's the idea we're exploring the reality of our mortality because nobody knows when we're going to go. And we did do a lot of work with the general public. We had a monthly workshop sponsored by our local cemetery that really believes in community-based death education and death literacy. And then what started happening as those people were employed in different walks of life, we started getting requests from hospices and healthcare settings, as well as cemeteries, to do staff and volunteer development. So that's part of what, everyone who considers taking this on has their own area of interest, their own kind of treasure chest of connections and past history. I think, someone could choose to be a Willow EOL educator and focus explicitly on nurse education, or integrating these workshops with an estate planning firm's packages, right? Or financial planning, or we have people who really want to focus on bringing these tools and materials to youth, because we know that when death touches those young people's lives, they're going to start looking at the life they're living differently. And our whole point is we don't need to wait. We have the power of imagination to create a sense of urgency for ourselves. And that urgency helps us clarify who and what matter most. And that's the point of the work. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Or wonderings, if you feel if you want a complimentary business jam session for 5 minutes, let's do it. What are you up to and what are you wondering? How could you use it? Nina.
Yeah, it's interesting what you just said. So just to give you a bit of background, my role, I work in a government organisation. So I work with the health department here in Australia, WA, and then with the coroners. Mm-hmm. And from my experience in that, because in that government role, I don't know how they would, if I was to present that opportunity to bring in that sort of training in a government setting, I don't know what the government, given my experience in that, yeah.
So my top of mind ideas, I just had a conversation with someone the other day who works at the University of British Columbia, and she's the support person for the undergraduate civil engineering students. I'm like, they have their own support person? Oh my gosh. Anyway, she's also the ambassador for the workplace wellness programming. So human resources and benefit programs inside organizations are also a possibility, so that it could be in a workplace like that. There are often budgets for professional development. There are often budgets for staff training, same thing as professional development, but also specifically around like retirement planning or vocational training. But it doesn't need to be with elders. What we've learned is that when people get together in these conversations where they're clarifying their values, their beliefs, their priorities, who and what matter most, there's a sense of energy and connection. People come to those events and say, like, I've never talked to my colleagues in this way before. Like, I really feel a different level of connection that's going to enhance what happens in the workplace.
Yeah. I mean, I work in the mortuary. I'm working with people that are working with deaf, yet they don't go down this road. So, but
So, I mean, that's the same thing. Like, I'm a trained funeral director. I'm a licensed funeral director. You spend about this much time in a funeral services training program talking about your own inevitable death and dying. It's a huge disservice, right? Yeah. So, but I'm guessing that the mortuary or the morgue and the government department overseeing that has a training budget for staff. Yeah. That they're getting trained on health and safety or occupational wellness or something like that. It could be that works. I mean, first of all, if you're employed and you're interested in delivering these workshops, then you don't have to worry about where the money's coming from, because if it's happening inside your working hours, right? But the hook is about, like, we have a workshop called values, beliefs, and who and what matters most. Who objects to that? To getting clarity about what are your core values and who and what matter most to you. So there are certain topics where the descriptors of them don't actually focus so much on the fact that we're actually talking about that the exploration of our mortality is the portal for learning about ourselves. The focus is on let's clarify our core values so we can make the most of this precious and finite life. So those are some thoughts. Yeah. Anybody else want to ask a question or muse aloud? So I just want to encourage you to take some time to look at the website, educators.willoweol.com, if you're someone for whom the licensing program would be a good fit. If that's not a fit for you at all, then I hope that this conversation and opportunity to learn about yourself and connect with others draws you to our website, willoweol.com, and go to the shop. There's 5 free tools. And they're the 5-minute legacy love letter, the heart will guide, how to write your heart will. There's a brief on grief and mourning. There's something called 9 things to include in your departure directions. And there's a reality of our mortality planning checklist. They're there for you. When you get those free tools, you do get subscribed to our mailing list. We send a newsletter every 2 to 3 weeks. If you don't want to be on that newsletter mailing list, just unsubscribe. That's totally cool. But those are there for you. And if you're like, I love this, but I'm not in a position to make any kind of investment other than a small one, then I would urge you to purchase the 7 Tools for Making Sense of Life and Death workbook. It comes in a print form as well as a fillable ebook. And that's the foundation of all of our work. The other workshops are detailed explorations of what's inside that workbook.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
And thanks to Rena too. And thanks everyone for attending. This has been really great.
Yeah, thank you very much, Karen. And thanks everyone for your time and your energy. And
yeah, thanks everyone.
Take good care.
Say goodbye.
Okay. Bye-bye.